They want to eliminate what they call the deep state. The deep state is a cadre of professionals dedicated to honoring the Constitution, the laws of this country, and carrying out the policies of the Congress and the President. The deep state dedicated to carrying out the policies of the President. The deep state dedicated to carrying out the policies of the President.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the bunker, the prepared mind. We're all in the house. And I tell you, it's been kind of a wacky day, but it's Thursday, not a wacky Wednesday. It's Thursday. And hey, in Congress, in the Senate, fake Indian down. Elizabeth Warren took a fool's crash over a Senate desk and wiped out. There's already memes coming out. One of them is Trump hitting a bright green dildo off the tee, hitting Elizabeth and knocking her over. That was good. But names for Elizabeth Warren now. I heard what? Falling horse. That was one. I like mine best. Mine was Blackfoot down. Anyways, tomorrow's memes are going to be even better. How I tell you, these fucking idiots. It's almost like Congress is a retirement home for thieves and scum. Anyways, this is a big one right here, folks. The declassified Inspector General John Durham appendix. It shows that Hillary Clinton. I guess I had a nice shot of scotch before the show. Didn't know it was that strong. Hillary Clinton personally approved the Trump-Russia collusion hoax. And she used the FBI to, quote, put, quote, more oil on the fire. And that sounds like something Hillary would say, put oil on the fire instead of gas. Because she's that much of a dumbass. And, oh, yeah. Epstein clients. Yeah, we want Epstein clients. Remember, folks, Trump never wanted this exposure, the Epstein client list exposure. And you guys, all of you are responsible for not being sheep, not believing the lie, and not being led to the slaughter. You keep demanding the Epstein list, and we're going to keep getting this put out in the open. It's embarrassing all of Congress. And it's almost like the more Epstein we demand, the more he pushes for prosecuting Obama as a traitor and arresting Hillary for the Russia collusion hoax. Good. Let's keep pushing for the Epstein client list because that is impressively, it's just paramount to the whole thing. It truly is. I mean, this is another one, right? We now know who the scumbag bureaucrat was who approved the mRNA jab vax for children while Robert F. Kennedy, RFK, was on vacation, allegedly. We now know. Get this. Remember this name? Vinay Prasad. That's right. Vinay Prasad was at the CBER, Center for Biologics Evaluation and Research. He is allegedly the single official who actually approved the mRNA death for children earlier this month. While RFK was on vacation, without telling the front office, he just decided to approve it all himself. And now he stepped down. In other words, he quit before he got fired, but he needs to be held accountable. This clown held three massive positions of authority in the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, and he decided all on his own that he was going to kill children on his word. Why isn't this guy arrested? Unbelievable. Don't expect any arrests, folks. I'm not. It's just one more instance. One more instance. Now, I want to talk about people who are not, we're not, we're, well, they're not loved by the deep state. They're hated by the deep state. General Mike Flynn is demanding Obama be prosecuted, along with his deep state minions, because they conspired to overthrow the United States of America. And this is the quote from General Flynn. We now need to see some accountability. And the prepared mind thought on this one is, well, General Michael Flynn was never selected to be in the Trump administration this go-round. Most likely because he doesn't want to play games and is likely a real patriotic American who wants truth and justice, not bullshit theatrics. He is not loved by the deep state. He was arrested. He was framed by the FBI. Once again, the FBI framed an honorable American general, framed him, sent him to jail on bullshit fake charges. And the same FBI that did that participated in the January 6th insurrection hoax. The same FBI that went around and arrested everyone, grandmas, grandpas, everybody. The same FBI is still in power under Kash Patel. Yeah, Kash Patel. Is anyone buying and believing that he was just wandering around the FBI, accidentally found a secret room where they store documents that need to be burned, and found the documents that cite Hillary Clinton as being right up there with Obama on the Russia collusion, Hillary collusion, hoax collusion, right? No, I don't believe that for a fucking second. They released that as a distraction. Lots of distractions, and there's more coming, folks. Oh, hang on. We've got a lot more coming. Now, Tulsi Gabbard, who ran as a Democrat presidential candidate, she got railroaded. She got stomped. I mean, she exposed during the debates. She exposed in the debates exactly how evil Camel Toes Harris is. For the whole world, Camel Toes had less than 1% of the Democrat vote, not the overall national vote, the Democrat vote. That's how bad she was. And Tulsi helped expose that. It was great. Anyways, Tulsi was brought into the Trump administration. She was one of the ones I was most suspicious of, and she's actually the one who's doing the most shit. She has a statement, right? She's released whistleblower testimony. An insider says that, these are FBI. Remember, she says she has affidavits, sworn statements, which mean can be used as evidence, testimony and evidence in a trial. This insider says that they were threatened, folks. They were threatened that they were going to back this phony Russia bullshit plastic banana narrative. The Obama Hillary directed Russia narrative. They were threatened that they would support it. Folks, the evidence is real. The evidence against Obama, the evidence against Hillary, the evidence against Susan Rice, the evidence against Brennan and Clapper and James Comey of the FBI, it's all real. And Tulsi is exposing it. And that's why she was smashed, folks, by the Democrats when she ran for president. I think a lot like General Flynn, she isn't into bullshit theatrics and pedo cover crap. But yeah, what she's doing and releasing is acting like a type of distraction, is it not? Now, in any other world, this would be the biggest news ever. And it truly is. It is treason. Treason coming from the White House, Obama, the would-be White House, Hillary, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Central Intelligence Agency, that's Brennan and Clapper. And within the FBI, we had Christopher Wray, James Comey, Ruby Rod Rosenstein, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page. Oh, yeah, there's lots of players in this, folks. But Tulsi isn't playing games. She is military. Thankfully, she actually has some integrity. Pete Hegseth has some integrity. Isn't that interesting? Michael Flynn has some integrity. Are you catching what's going on here? Military personnel have integrity. I think that the military would be ideal for making the arrests that Pam Bondi won't, for making the arrests that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino won't. I think the military, a military court, should issue an arrest warrant for treason and send the military to make the arrests. Because isn't treason an act, it's essentially an act of war against one's own government? I think it ought to be handled by the military because it's not a civilian crime. It isn't. It's an attack on the country, on the nation, on the Constitution, on our republic. I don't know how this is going to play out, folks, but I'm tired of the fucking games. I truly am tired of the games. We should be able to go to sleep at night with peace of mind that the government is doing its job. Instead, we're getting this. Squirrel! Squirrel! Right? Squirrel. We're always getting squirrel. You know, President Trump is calling for Nancy Pelosi to be investigated. That's right, right. Hillary, lock her up. Lock her up. When it comes to Obama, he must be prosecuted. It's treason. Right? Trump is calling for prosecutions, investigations, arrests on everybody except the Epstein client list. It is embarrassing. It is so obvious. You guys never fell for the bullshit. I know I didn't. This is anything is better than the Epstein case. No, that is exactly the problem. That is the exact control. This Epstein list is being held over at least half of Washington, D.C. And that's control. These are control files. They did something wrong. They didn't get drunk at a bar. They didn't drive drunk and get away with it like Nancy's husband, Paul Pelosi. Right? That's not what they're getting away with. That's, you know, they have committed serious crimes against children. And they will do anything to protect themselves. Anything. Anything. Right? So, yeah, they're calling for the arrest, investigation, and no one's going to get, well, hardly investigated. I doubt anyone will be arrested. Prosecutions? For everyone. Yeah, no. Right? The absolute absence in Washington, D.C., of energetic enthusiasm for the client list is incriminating, and we all see it. There are several people, though, like Congressman Massey, for example, who want the list released. The Democrats are so fucking retarded. They hate Trump so much. Their Trump derangement syndrome is off the hook, and I get it now, I guess, because it's irritating. It's just fucking irritating. But I don't have Trump derangement syndrome. I have fact retrieval syndrome. I want the facts retrieved, right? But yeah, there's no enthusiasm from the Trump administration for the Epstein client list. It's kind of like, yeah, it's a hoax and it's fake. And the Democrats, they forged it. So, but you can release the stuff as long as I'm not on it. But there's a whole lot of enthusiasm to go after Hillary and Nancy and Obama and the gang. It's absolutely wild. By the way, speaking of Camel Toes Harris, the idiot has announced that she has memoirs. Memoirs regarding her 2024 presidential campaign. And of course, on social media, she's being brutally taken down. I mean, the question I have, does she include the part of the campaign where she stays intoxicated 24/7? Will her memoirs include the brand name of camouflaged earpiece so that she could have clues and tips on how to debate while they were in action, right? Does the memoir include the parts where she gets on her knees and, quote, goes to work like her husband said? Remember that shit? Remember that, man, when her husband was like, yeah, when the times are tough, she, you know. Unbelievable. Anyways, yeah, Kamala Harris is not ruling out a 2028 run for the president, and she's also trying to run for governor of California. I mean, they just don't go away. Once a parasite digs in and starts getting blood, they don't stop. They realize just how good that is, I guess. It really is. So, folks, I'm not letting this Epstein thing go. It's not 24/7 in my head. It doesn't live in my head. But when it comes to things that will cause shit to hit the fan, that's number one on my list. And that's why it's so important. It's not that I want shit to hit the fan. It already has. It's not that I want it to go Mad Max, because it could. But the thing is if we don't tear off the Band-Aid and see what we're dealing with, right, it's going to fester and be infected and take down the whole country. That's my deal with it. Tear off the Band-Aid. Let's see who's there. Let's deal with it. But we also know that they're going to go scorched earth. They've made, if they're going to make threats about supporting the Russia hoax collusion, you know, Russia. Imagine the threats that are going on now. Right? Hillary's already threatened everybody. If you arrest me, I'll take down half of Washington. Good. Who do we need to arrest to get the other half? So, Virginia Giuffre used to be Virginia Roberts. You know, the 15-year-old girl that Epstein stole from Trump's salon, his massage parlor. Right? The family, her family, Virginia's, is begging Trump to not pardon Ghislaine Maxwell, Jizzy Maxwell, who they call a monster. You know, and me personally, I'm done with the policy mistakes of Trump. Like, well, we're gonna fund Palantir and we're gonna completely digitize everyone and we're gonna monitor everything and we're gonna go full artificial intelligence, Big Brother surveillance state in America. That just fucking happened. I'm done with it, folks. That is not make America great again. That's make America slave again. Massa, or massa, if you will. Okay, Mr. Trump, you're a good massa. I'll probably get in trouble for that one. You know, because that's what he wants. He wants us to be good little slaves and listen to his shit and not criticize him. Make America slaves again. I'll be real good from now on, massa. Right? Wow. That was my houseboy voice. Anyways, I'm done with his mistakes, like giving more weapons to Ukraine. Wait a minute, I thought we were going to end that day one. Oh yeah, another day one promise. Trump wants to give amnesty to illegals. Oh yeah, that's all part of getting them out of the country, right? No, sanctioning, supporting, excusing the $3.1 billion that the private banking cartel, the Federal Reserve, is taking from us, the American people. American taxpayers are funding a $3.1 billion remodel of a private bank. And of course, Donald Trump sucking up to and kissing Israel's ass. Kissing Israel's ass. And now, folks, now it is being bantered about that he wants to pardon convicted sex crime scumbag P. Diddy, and also the vicious monster the child raping kidnapper and trafficker Jizzy Maxwell? Just what the absolute ever-loving fuck is he thinking? There is no amount of evidence that should give her a pardon. All we should do is go, okay, look, you give us the evidence. Give us all the names, Jizzy, all the names that we know Trump and Bondi and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and everybody who's already seen the evidence. We already have the list. It's already a black book. We have it. But Jizzy's going to give us more information, is she? Great. Instead of sharing a cell, you're now going to have your very own cell all to yourself. How's that, Jizzy? You know, instead of 2 meals a day, you get 3. Instead of a cold shower, once a week, you get a hot shower. That's about as generous as I can be for someone who is captured and done whatever the fuck she's done to children. The girls that are still speaking, the women now, because Jizzy has been doing this for decades and decades and decades. Finding girls, grooming them, sneaking them off to Epstein's island and doing god-awful, horrible things to them. You know, as soon as they steal him from Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. And the more he waits around, folks, the more this information is being dug up and released. I know Republicans that are releasing this, talking about it, they want the facts and the truth. Get Epstein's list out there and let's go after him. The Democrats have Trump derangement syndrome. They don't care. They're so enamored or dedicated to going after Trump. They're going to ignore the fact that that's going to take down probably 3/4 of the Democrats too. I don't care. I don't want to hear, well, they're all doing it. They're all criminals. They're all pedophiles. So what's the difference anyway? Let's do the Hillary Clinton. What difference does it make now anyway? Right? No, it matters. But there's another problem that's occurring with Mr. Trump. And I don't know if you've caught this. Here it is. Chris Cuomo of the Andrew Cuomo, the Cuomo crime family in New York City. He's a Democrat, obviously. And he just gave President Trump an A rating. An A rating. He gave him an A. In fact, a lot of the mainstream media is now agreeing that Trump is doing well, including the New York Times. Tell me shit hasn't hit the fan when the mainstream media and an idiot like Chris Cuomo look at Trump and go, you know, he's doing all right. He's doing okay. Well, why are they saying Trump is doing all right? Why did Chris Cuomo give Trump an A rating? Why? Because he is taxing us and spending just like a good Democrat. There is no fiscal responsibility here, folks. There's no fiscal responsibility. It's the same thing. And it's sad to say because I had high hopes. And I know Uman wants to beat me with a stick for taking the hopium pipe and smoking it. In fact, at the beginning, I'm going to throw Uman under the bus here. The first 2 weeks after Trump was inaugurated, you're shaking your head at me, man. We were like talking and we're like, I can't believe this. Trump's doing a lot of great stuff right out the gate. Good things are happening the first 2 weeks, right? And after that, it's just been a slow, steady decline of fucking ridiculous stupidity. Crazy business, folks. Now, we've talked about how woke is dying, diversity, equity, inclusion, DEI is dying, ESG, environmental social governance, is dying. The EPA is just slashing a bunch of ridiculous, stupid regulations, right? They're getting rid of diversity, equity, inclusion. They're doing all that. But it's not over. That's just at one level. The confusion on the streets, the LGBTQ ideological war is still going. A woman was being interviewed on the street and claims her dog is both gay and gender fluid. And then earlier today, I saw an interview of a boy, approximately 8 years old. He was sitting in front of a webcam with another kid and the mom in the background. She is a liberal mom, a large liberal mom. You can imagine what she looked like. She was sitting right behind. And in this video, this 8-year-old boy explains online, live to others, that his disgusting Democrat mother is pushing him to participate in LGBTQP lifestyle. Dogs, kids. These people are sick fucks. And they're not going to go away, folks. I mean, they can kill the DEI crap. Jaguar lost 97% of their business over a couple of gay car ads. They got nicknamed Fagwire. And then you've got Budweiser that had a tranny child influencer as a spokesmodel. They lost and got their asses handed to them. Go woke, go broke, right? It can't happen fast enough. It just can't. But, the world, there's a chance we can fix things. And I don't want to be hopeful. I want to say that the only way is to fight and scream and yell. Elections aren't enough, folks. In the state of Florida, Governor DeSantis is calling for a new national census to be taken. So illegals are not counted for the purposes of the number of congressional seats that come from each state. Because some states, more than others, have illegals in them. And I know Florida's one of them. Florida has its fair share of illegals. Fuck. I saw them at Miami International. Fucking line of them. And this is just while I was there for 1 hour. The fucking line was over a mile long. Right? We can free America from the Democrat communist takeover if we get these illegals off the census and then not allow them to vote. And Governor DeSantis is making one hell of a case for it, as well as other things he said, like let's get rid of property taxes. Right? Yeah, and a couple other things. It needs to happen, though. And just getting Democrats more out of Congress doesn't help. Because right now, Congress is controlled by maggot Mike Johnson, a Republican, and scumbag John Thune, a Republican out of Texas. These people, no, Cornine's out of Texas. I don't know where Thune is out of. They're Republicans, and they're blocking Trump's good ideas. They're blocking the release of the Epstein files. They're being exposed as insider traders, making millions and millions of dollars. Do we need to keep, at this point, we used to say we needed a businessman to run the country instead of these elected know-nothings, do-nothings who've never worked in the private sector, don't know shit about running anything. Okay, bring in some millionaires and billionaires. What do? The same fucking things. They line up to the gravy train and screw us all, steal our money, launder it back to themselves, and then go, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to take that money. Had enough of it. And the media, they can't attack Republicans on this because Democrats do it as well. They're all doing it, all of them. In fact, the non-insider trading, the Congress can't trade anymore. Can't be in Wall Street. They should have to put all their holdings in a blind trust. Nancy tried saying it's her husband. Her husband's making all the right decisions based on what his wife is voting on. So yeah, Nancy, it's called the Pelosi Act. How appropriate is that? All right, now to some on the street concepts where you and I get in trouble. On the street. Shooters. Now we had the casino shooter in Reno, Nevada. This guy's been identified several days later. The attack, the shooting attack, left 3 dead. That's a mass murder. And multiple other people were injured. The guy's name is Dakota Hover. Well, you're not going to find him on social media, folks. I'm sure the FBI scrubbed his social media so we can't know how Democrat he was and how pro-terrorist or pro-Antifa he was. Also, no picture of him. I mean, as far as we know, they gave him a fucking John Doe name, a made up bullshit name. That may have been an alias he was using, but no social media, no picture. Kind of like the New York shooter was a white guy. CNN should, the whole country's out of control. CNN should have their license revoked. We need people arrested, and nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. What do you guys think? I'd like to hear your thoughts, comments, questions, observations, because we're going to go to your questions from the comment section, because we're switching over to the inner circle. All righty. I think we've got a few. We got a few, man. I think we got a few. Let's do it, man. Let's rock and roll. What do we got? Right out the gate. How many of the girls were actually under 17 and a half years? Are we talking 1 or 2 or 20? If we're talking about girls that worked in Mar-a-Lago, how many of the girls were under? Don't know. Don't know. How many of the girls were recruited by Jeffrey Epstein? They liked it. He liked them young folks. I mean, the case, the lawsuit that was started by the woman who was at the time a 13-year-old girl, charging that Trump raped her several times. I don't know if that's true. She alleges that. She sued, but then she stopped. Now, I just don't know, right? The longer this gets drug out, the more it implies Trump is involved. It's a fact. If they were 17 and a half years old, Robin, all Trump would have to come out and do is go, they were 18. They were 17 and a half, right? They were 18. They were 19. They were 20. Yeah, they were young. Yeah, I was older. So what? Right? Not a crime. It's not. Right. Some states, the legal age of consent is 17. I think there's a couple that are even 16. I don't know anymore. Uman shaking his head. Yes. Yeah, some. To me, that's fucking nuts, because mentally, these 16 and 17-year-old girls, they're extremely immature. They are not worldly. They can be easily intimidated, lied, and fooled. And if they're under 18 or under the legal limit, yeah, it's incredible. In fact, there was another report or a recollection, a story that came out that Trump admitted that the youngest, it was for that jackass in New York City, Howard Stern. Apparently, Trump was being interviewed by him and said that, well, the lowest he would go is a 12-year-old girl. Who the fuck would even make that as a joke? But it all becomes incriminating because nothing has been done, because there are no arrests, because Trump is hiding it, because there's obfuscation, because there's squirrel trying to distract us. It just makes it more and more incriminating, and I am not going to give it up. Fuck it. It's our country. They're being controlled by Israel and Mossad. They're being controlled by other intelligence agencies like the CIA, MI6, FBI, et cetera, et cetera. They don't want to lose their power, and they don't want to go to jail. I don't want any of them anywhere near the reins of power, either in the intelligence community or in government. So we've got a hell of a fight. Are you with me, right? Holy shit. Mikey G says 32 states have an age of consent of 16 years old. Get this, right? I was born and raised and lived in California. The age of consent there was 18. 18. But if you rape a child, it's only a misdemeanor. Now, can you fucking believe these places? The line between government and human decency, government. Some fucking lowlifes. They truly are. It's just, it's like I woke up in fucking crazy ass fantasy land where nothing makes any sense. All right. Thank you, Mikey G. And Mr. Uman, where do we want to roll next? Let's have some fun with this one. And it's Diving Frog. And he says, how long? Oh, boy. Here we go. How long before the aliens show up? Let's just stop right there. The alien thing is still out there. There's a 7-mile long alien spaceship, and it's heading this way at 130,000 miles per hour. And it's not behaving like a comet. It doesn't have a tail like a comet. We don't know what it could be. Aliens, right? So how long before the aliens show up with a transgender alien that needs to stick his whatever in little Billy's face while reading stories to him? 1 week, maybe. Yeah, but I mean, E.T., the movie, right? We were kind of led to believe that E.T. was an alien kid because he liked to hang out with kids. That's kind of how the story went. The nickname was E.T. stood for the extra testicle, if I remember right. Long time ago, all the jokes we had about that. But yeah, it's. I think the alien thing is going to be played. They've been releasing videos, the military, of the Tic Tac style alien spaceship technology. We've had that. They've got Project Bluebeam. They've got the ability to put holograms in the sky. People are fooled easily by artificial intelligence. It's almost like the more we get artificial intelligence, and we can still see it's not quite right. You look at stuff from 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, and you can see it's bullshit and faked pictures and everything else. Oh, kind of like Obama's birth certificate that we were given, over 15 years ago. They went right in there and proved that it was a completely falsified, doctored document. Not to mention all the times that Obama said he was from Kenya. And oh yeah, all the times Big Mike Obama said he's a man when he was defending transgender children. And as a black man, I know what it's like, is what Michelle said. As a black man, these are sick fucking people. They've been lying to us. So, yeah, the alien thing, you bet. Oh, well, that's part of their culture. Kind of like the Muslims. Well, their book, the Holy Quran, says it's fine to rape little girls. And, well, basically rape anyone you want, including goats. Anyone you want that's not being escorted by someone who can kick your ass, you can rape them. There's no reason for them to have self-control because it's not required by their religion. Unfucking believable. I'm going to start a religion and make up some rules and shit and just do whatever I want. See how that works for me. Oh, wait. I'm a white Christian male. That's not going to work. Okay, Mr. Uman. Robin G says, I met my husband when he was 17 and a half and he was 24. I have no problem with that. It worked well for me. Men take longer to mature. Now you're stating facts. Yeah. I've noticed throughout my life when I was young and then in my 20s and my 30s and all the way up to where I am now. Well, back then at those ages, women were 4, 5, 6 years more mature mentally, or at least they acted like it, right? Or is it just boys are goofy and they don't give a shit? Any way you look at it. But so I've got no problem. 17 and a half. Right? But were you groomed by him and then tricked? Come and get in the van, little girl. I've got some candy. And then kidnapped or trafficked, as they like to say now, to a distant island and raped ritualistically by a bunch of sick fuckers wearing red shoes. I know the answer. That's not how it happened with you. Right? And so, I just don't have problems with it. With that, I have problems with people like Epstein and Jizzy Maxwell and people who say that they'll just, it's an awful fucking spectacle to observe. It's an awful fucking spectacle. You know, when you're dealing with someone who doesn't have any world experience. In fact, you know, it used to be that people were considered adults when they hit 12 or 13. Children used to start working around the house domestically, on the farm domestically, their own, at age 4, 5, 6. They'd start working. By the time they were 12 or 13, they hit puberty and they were considered an adult. And they still weren't allowed to vote until they were 18. Well, now the mental maturity, because no kids go to work until they're not allowed to until they're 15 and a half. At least it was when I was growing up, 15 and a half before you could go work in California. And so by the time I was, let's see, if I started working at 15 and a half, I was 15 and 3/4. I realized what taxes were. And that started, I was ready to vote then, folks. Yeah, you should be paying taxes and get some world experience. Anyways, enough of my shit. You know, what does it mean to be an adult and be grown up? They want to lower the voting age, the Democrats do. Know why? Because idealistic, easily influenced young minds will vote Democrat. That's why they want that. And why do these politicians in California want to make it a misdemeanor to sell your child into prostitution or pimp children into prostitution? They want to make it a misdemeanor to rape children. That's their laws. That's the laws they want. That's how fucking sick they are, folks. Elected officials are sick at the national and state level. Prove me wrong. Right? Show. It's horrifying. It truly is. It's horrifying. There is no pedo light. There's no pedophilia light. You don't lock someone in a basement, chain them to a bed, and sell them for sex to someone else, and then say, well, you know, they said they liked it because I asked them. That's not how it fucking works. All right, Mr. Uman, let's continue. I want to get off this horse and change the fucking subject if we can. Redneck Roughneck checks in, says, Dougie said yesterday that Dougie would be the husband of Camel Toes Harris. Dougie said yesterday that he was going to stand behind Kamala in her work. So does this mean that when she puts her head down and goes to work, he is going to hold her hair? Yeah, that's right. It wasn't get on her knees and go to work. It was put her head down and go to work. I don't know what to say, man. I think Kamala coming back into the headlines, get the joke there. How about that? Yeah, she gets into the headlines. It's just another distraction. They probably said, look, Kamala, everyone knows you're a whore. You always have been. So why don't we just use you one more time since you're used to putting your head down and going to work? Let's put you on the limelight, see if we can distract those wacky Republicans with their hatred of you. Look, folks, Kamala Harris went away. I forgot about her for weeks and even months. Right? But she's back. I can keep track of all this, but at the very top, it's always, where's that fucking list and why aren't they being arrested? Thank you, Redneck Roughneck. Mr. Uman, let's keep this up. Let's keep having some fun. And Uman says, here we go again. Trump extended the tariff deadline with Mexico another 90 days. Uman, would you like to join me on screen here and discuss this?
Why, certainly.
Welcome to the show, man. You're live.
Hello, everybody.
So tariffs. This has been, I'm actually thinking of them now as sanctions on other countries that don't do what Trump wants. He's going to punish them with tariffs. So
The the worst part about it from my perspective and from the customers that I talk to is that nobody knows what direction to go to. This on again, off again thing. It's like, oh, well, the tariff is on right now, but he lifted it off of Europe and Canada or whatever. So do I want to buy this machine or this car or this whatever now and have it inflated with that tariff on there? Right. Or do I wait another 30 days and, see what happens? So
I believe this particular tariff, wasn't it over fentanyl production and drug running into the country, that if they didn't knock their shit off, he was going to tariff the shit out of them?
Yeah. Yeah. If they didn't take steps to stop the flow. Same thing with Canada. And apparently they're not doing enough. But it just creates so much uncertainty, and I've got customers that were supposed to order machines months ago. And they just keep putting it off because all that uncertainty in the marketplace right now has got everybody hesitant to spend money.
Yeah, I hear you. You can't make an intelligent decision. You can't. You're going to make a decision about buying something, a big capex move, right? Capital expenditure. But you don't know what the price of copper or steel or aluminum is going to be because of these tariffs. So you can't commit to a long-term deal, a big capex venture. It's ridiculous. And so Trump is fucking business up at this point with it.
And are those increases in those raw materials going to affect the amount of product my customer is buying, or is it going to stay at the current rate where I could justify it? But if it goes up and the orders go down, all of a sudden I can't afford this machine I just bought.
Because of shit like this right here, copper, and folks, copper is needed for all business. Copper dropped 25% in one fucking day. It looked like it fell off a cliff. The chart was just this, and it just went right down.
Yeah, copper has also been a historic indicator for how well the housing market is doing as well.
That's correct. Yeah, it's such a big part of housing and other industry that it's called Dr. Copper because it knows when the economy is sick and copper sales stop. It's a big deal, but it's not just copper, this tariff, it's everything. In fact, Canada, I guess, has now been demonstrated to have the number one, and this isn't a good thing, Canada, out of, I think, the Vancouver area, number one fentanyl manufacturing facility is not Mexico, it's Canada. It's fucking Canada. Anyways, it's I'm glad Trump's figuring some of this out, but it's fucking business up. In fact, I watched videos and saw pictures, Oliver, of Las Vegas. I think their revenue is down like 30% now. The streets are empty. People aren't going in there.
Yeah, I saw that too. I mean, casinos empty on nights that are supposed to be the busiest nights of the week, and it's like that down in Chicago too. There's a guy, I think it's called SubX News on X, and he's got what he calls his empty storefronts project. And he goes around Chicago showing all these businesses that have been closed down for months and years. And, he'll go out and say, hey, Russian division used to be jam-packed on Friday and Saturday nights. Now, unless some kind of a street takeover shows up, the place is a graveyard. I mean, there's just nothing going on. Michigan Avenue.
It's not just mom and pops. It's also franchise businesses. I've watched Red Robin shut down and Applebee's that I drive by all the time. They're just shutting down because we have. Well, I think they're denying the recession, Oliver, but I think it's here. They're just hiding it behind fake numbers, but it's showing on the street. It's showing. Vegas is a big one. You have no disposable income. You can't go to Vegas and have fun. You can't go out to dinner and eat at local restaurants. You can't put in orders with manufacturers because you don't know what the hell's going on, because Trump is continuing to play his art of the deal and fucking with these countries.
Yeah. It's all my customers say, I don't care if he goes one way or another with it.
Just go.
Decide which way you're going to go and make it stick.
Pick a fucking lane and make it,
Yeah, it's the uncertainty that's got everybody freaking out about this stuff.
Unfortunately, so Trump in this in this respect, is becoming his own enemy as well. You know, it is now, it's all on him. You know, and thankfully, you know, I know he wants to blame Jerome Powell, and Jerome Powell is a politicized piece of shit in the Federal Reserve, in my opinion. He was more than willing to drop in interest rates for Biden, but once the election ended, that was it. Now, with respect to interest rates, if you were to buy like I think a $400,000 or $500,000 house, your monthly payment at the current rate would be, I think, $3,000, your mortgage. But if they dropped it 1 percentage point, it would be down almost $800. And those are just some round numbers to think about. The housing market has taken some serious slowdowns, and it's showing. It's going to come back and bite Trump really bad. It's going to hurt all of us, even worse than we're hurting now. So I hope you're prepared. Not just you, man, but everyone. Anyways, all
right. Well, I'm going to turn myself off again here, and I got the neighbor mowing the lawn over here, so I don't need that noise in the background.
He's making a living. He's mowing the lawn. Yeah, it's good stuff, folks. The Department of Justice has filed a memorandum in the case because they want to unseal the Epstein and Maxwell grand jury testimony. They want to look into the cases to justify their release. And I'm thinking, justify the release of the Epstein and Maxwell cases. That's exactly what we want. There's no justification needed. How about hundreds and thousands of children being raped by billionaire pedophiles? You know, and on top of this, if Bill Cosby can be tried on witness testimony and other people found guilty of crimes on witness testimony, why can't we do this with Epstein's clients? Well, because you know they're hiding behind and hoping and praying that these girls don't remember what their face looked like 5 years ago, or I'm sorry, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago. Wild business. Okay, man, where are we going to go next? It's up to you. You got the list, not the Epstein list, but the regular one. It's C. And C checks in and says, I want to do some remodeling and don't know if I should. I suspect you mean remodeling your house. Here's the deal. Here's what I've seen in construction, because I've been in and around construction since the early mid-90s, is anytime the recession or anytime the economy starts to slow down, people build smaller houses or they don't build at all. People do remodels instead of building houses, and people that do remodels typically don't, because the future is uncertain. They don't feel good about things. And that was a big part of Trump's first term, was I'm going to make the stock market look huge. So everyone feels good, not about the money they have today, but about their hope for the future and their retirement because of their investments in Wall Street. It's not working, right? It's not working. So what Trump had we found $150 trillion sitting in a trust fund that's been there since the Civil War, and we're going to make everyone wealthy. Well, not everyone, just a few people, right? They can't make up their fucking mind. Again, uncertainty. And so here we go. See, you say, I want to do some remodeling and I don't know if I should. Well, if you're questioning it, the answer should be no. If you're questioning it and wondering if you should spend money, probably not a good time to do it. The other thing is, well, remodel part of your house. Big, like a room addition is a big deal. Room additions are a big deal. Remodeling a bathroom, not so big deal. But, I can't give advice, but I just know that when people start questioning and wondering, that means the slowdown has already started and people are pulling back on the reins. In my personal professional world where I'm working, clients have far more money than I do, and they haven't pulled back on the reins yet. But I'm hearing about it in commercial commercial contracting in the areas of Florida that I'm working, and I'm hearing about it in other areas of Florida where the slowdowns are starting to happen. So hang on to your hats, man. Tighten the belt on your britches. See, Robin G says, probably not getting cheaper. So if you really need to, cheaper. Materials might get more expensive because of tariffs, or if these other countries bend to Trump's wills, prices will come down. And this is kind of an economics 102 or 103. It's not quite economics 101. But in a recession, you can have inflation with some items and deflation with other items. Things that we have to have. Gasoline, food, car insurance, right? Those prices never come down. But things that you already have that you don't need, those prices do come down because stores have inventory and they want to move it. So everyone has a TV. No one needs a TV. So the prices of TVs can come down. You want some steak, right? You want some food, it's going to go up because times are tight, times are tough. Everyone still needs food. But so the stagflation, this is where it gets weird, right? The stagnant economy. Inflation for some items, but other items, not a problem. So a company that has a bunch of cabinets that are manufactured, you'll probably be able to buy them cheaper in a recession. Other things, not so much. So it's going to be a crapshoot, a hit and miss. And if you can, get a quote. Actually get 3 quotes from different contractors for the work you want done. See what the price difference is amongst them. Right? That's the best you can do, really. It really is the best you can do. But again, things aren't going to get cheaper, but if you're already feeling the pinch, right, don't put your head in an alligator's mouth. All right. We're running out of time. Just 2 minutes left in the show today. And Heidi checks in and says, communism sounds good at a young age. Well, yeah, the idea that you can live off of everyone else's wealth, right? Well, in 6th grade, I was 11 years old, and I learned about communism and socialism, and I thought to myself, and this is a true story, folks, it would be great. It would make sense that this is an 11-year-old thinking. I should be able to do whatever I want, age 20 to 30, while I'm young, full of energy, and piss and vinegar. I should be able to retire in my 20s, travel the world, do all kinds of crazy shit. And then after that, in my 30s, 40s, 50s, until I die, I should work. I would rather have my retirement years in my 20s. Right? So that's it's this idea, this communist idea that everyone else can pay for me. And then maybe, good things will happen later. I'll work hard. I'll work hard. Yeah, communism sounds good at a young age. Yeah, that person's stuff over there, they can work hard. I don't have to, though. Shit, I get the same pay. I don't have to do nothing. Right? A lot of these youths, the Utes, they don't want to leave the nest. They want to live at home. They want to bitch at mommy and daddy as Gen Xers or boomers. They want to live at home and live off them and go, look at all the money they've saved up. Yeah, they fucking made it and saved it. They made that money and invested it. Of course, they're going to be jealous of their parents and blame their parents because that's the mentality that as Utes, the school has put into them, these communist schools. Look at all the people that have worked for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Look at all they have. You should have that too at a young age. Well, they didn't have it at a young age. I fucking chastised some jackass on the internet today because he was like, oh yeah, these boomers, they didn't have to pay $2,000 or $3,000 rent. Yeah, well, they made 25, 30 cents an hour. They didn't get $15, $20, or $25 an hour as a coffee barista pouring a cup of coffee, who then sits back and bitches at people because they don't tip for getting a coffee poured. It's incredible. The belief system that these youths have, because they've been brainwashed, hypnotized, and indoctrinated. It's hard on everybody, is what I finished up my rant with this clown on the internet over. I shouldn't have wasted my fucking time, but I was like, everybody is suffering. I'm in my 50s. I'm suffering. Fucking inflation. Bullshit, right? Standard of living is not where it should be. The wages with relation to the cost of living is up. Wages have stayed the same. It's the same for everybody, regardless of age. So just because your grandparents wisely saved their money instead of blowing it, right? Because saving used to be one of those things people did. They didn't say, well, I've got an extra $100. Let's go fucking blow it. I got an extra $500. I'm going to go blow it now. I've seen that way too much. I've seen way too many young adults have a relative, parents or grandparents, pass away, leave them $20,000, $50,000, $100,000, and within a month, they've got nothing to show for it except maybe a shiny new car sitting there that they don't know if they can make the payments on what's left. Anyways, enough of my rant. That was a good rant. I'm going to let you guys go, folks. Chance favors the prepared mind. I am out. I'll see you guys tomorrow. It is going to be the free-for-all Friday in the afternoon, and then again, Sunday Night Live. I want to see everyone there, Sunday Night Live. Share this video. Thumbs up, please. Let's stick that giant thumb right in YouTube's ass. Thumbs up. It makes them mad to know that so many people like this material, this topic, and what you guys have to say in the comments matters as well. So, Godspeed, Semper Fi.